you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Mark Boreski. I will be chairing the panel today. With me on the panel are Mike Colatruglio and Ruth Carol Feldman. The assessor today is Tanya Sharp, and our secretary is Nicole Carnegie. To the Zoom participants in the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised, the comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the Board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the Board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 2, 6, 7, 9, and 11 on our docket today. Ms. Carnegie, could you please affirm the assessor's testimony for the... Well, hang on a second. We'll push this one down, won't we? Because there's still no applicant present?
Yes, there is no applicant, Mr. Chair, for item number 2.
All right, so then let's push it down the docket just in case someone does appear. And let us then go on to item number 6, which is 475 Jefferson Avenue, in which case you could affirm the assessor and Ms. Kronevska, if I've said that correctly.
No, good enough. Thank you. Okay, Madam Assessor, please stand. Please state your full name. You affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I do. Thank you. Ms. Kronevska, please state your full name.
My name is Bogomila Kronevska.
You affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Sharp, when you are ready, could you please proceed with your evidence?
The property we're speaking about is roll number 1102 0015 000 475 Jefferson Avenue. It's located in 309 Jefferson.
copy of, oh, she's just reading off the information on your property
Oh,
at this point. I can just give you, you can just follow along here, just to make sure it's just this page.
oh, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No problem. Area 309 Jefferson. The property is a 1.5-story building, single family dwelling, built in 1951. Area of 1372 square feet, full basement with no basement finish, 1 full bathroom, central air, and a detached multiple car garage. It sits on assessed lot size of 5,408 square feet. And it has a bus route light traffic on that property. We currently have an assessment for 2024 of $245,000 or $178.57 per square foot. The comparable properties that I've chosen are all located in the Jefferson neighborhood area. They are all 1.5-story properties, all range from 1947 to 1951. They range from 1,221 square feet to 1,288 square feet, all have full basement. The first 2 comparable properties have no basement finish. This 3rd and 4th do have basement finish. All of them have a garage, some single, some multiple. The comparable property number 1 has an area of 6,506 square feet. Second has 4,598 square feet. Third has 5,994 square feet. And the 4th has 5,712 square feet. The sales that have taken place all between the 5th of July 2019 up until October the 26th of 2020. They range from time adjusted sale price from $223,200 to $275,400. At this time, we are asking that there be no change made to the current 2024 assessed value of $245,000.
Just before we carry on, do you mind addressing your map as well, since you
Oh,
gave
certainly.
us that in evidence?
Certainly. Yes, the map, the comparable property is at 475 Jefferson, and the other comparable properties are in the same direct area, area 309 Jefferson, spread out between 228 Enniskin and up to 591 McAdam.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Konevska, you now have an opportunity to ask the assessor questions about her evidence. We don't want your evidence about your property quite yet, but this is an opportunity to clarify anything that you may not understand about what she has presented. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I have one question, because to prepare for this panel, on the last year, on the 4th time, the house was sold on Jefferson, 446 Jefferson Avenue. The asking price for this house was $250,000. Like, I would like to know, from where did you take this amount of money? Like, it is asking price or it's sale price? Because regarding this house, 446 Jefferson, after the house was sold and still was the agent board in front of the house, I called the agent because I know the house was sold for less than asking price, but he didn't tell me. He said me that he can't tell me. Therefore, I you know, that whatever is on MS list, I was wondering if this is the asking price or this is the sold price.
We don't have 446 Jefferson listed as a comparable. So I don't have any information on that property. But when we're talking about our property, the sale price comes from land titles.
Oh, okay.
The sale price comes from land titles. And then there is Then there's a time adjusted sale price, which is adjusted up to April 1st of 2021.
Therefore, you don't take a price from MSL list, you're taking price for the.
Land titles
Land.
office, yes, yes.
Mr. Chair, there seems to be some construction going on outside our window here. They're drilling, so we
Oh,
may
no.
just take a pause. It seems to have stopped now, but if we stop talking, that's probably why.
All right. Sorry, I don't hear that, but feel free to interrupt. Ms. Granevska, do you have any other questions?
No, thank you.
All right. And then I'll turn to the panel to see if they have questions. Mr. Colatulio, do you have any questions of the assessor?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Feldman?
Yes, I just have one question. I was wondering whether they're taking into consideration that Jefferson is a much more active and busier street as it's through and probably has a fair amount of bus traffic. Whether that was taken into consideration.
Yes, it was taken into consideration. The values for the other properties are quite a bit or are higher than the property valuation for Jefferson. And that is indicated just on the bottom of the list where it says bus route light traffic. Light traffic actually indicates slightly more than average traffic. We have light, medium, heavy traffic. Those are all heavier than your average traffic. I know it's a little confusing. So we did take that into consideration when we were setting the valuation.
Thank you.
That's all your questions? Do you have any further questions, Ms. Feldman?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Sharp, looking at the map, the comparable number 1, looks like there's a major street just to the east. What is that street?
I can't tell from my map.
All right. Do you know what is on the large lot adjacent to comparable number 1?
No, I do not. It is
Okay.
commercial adjacent. And it says it's a community recreation building. So I would assume it's a community center of some sort.
Okay, I see. And I noticed that for virtually all, with the exception of one comparable, the year built and the effective age is the same. So nothing has been done in the 70 plus years to any of these properties to alter the effective age?
The properties were reviewed on MLS and there were no major updates made to the properties.
All right, so one would then assume that the characteristics on all of them were current to roughly that date, the registration date, a little bit maybe prior to that, if you're using an MLS listing, is that correct?
Yes, except if there was some maintenance that had taken place. The properties that were reviewed indicated that there would have been no major adjustments.
All right, and no permits taken out, that sort of thing?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Well, that's my questions, and then we could turn to Ms. Kranevska for the evidence that you would like to present to us about your property. Could you proceed with that, please?
We were talking here about the street, the busy street of this house. And this house is on, I don't know on another, but this house is on the corner of Jefferson and McGregor. This my house 475, 473, and 477. We have a very bad problem. Whenever the car passing by, our houses are shaking. And I have a cracks in the kitchen, which I have all the time to repair. but there is, and I don't even know, like we were calling to the city about that, and we were told that this is probably because the movement, the shaking is, it's moving through the pipe which they are connected to the main street. Therefore, this is very bad for influence for the price for the house, because when I'm talking with the people from the another side of my backline, which they are living on Saint Anthony, they know about that, and they talking that they would not like to buy those houses in Jefferson. Like, I don't know about other houses on Jefferson. I know only about those 3 houses. My neighbors from both sides. We have this very bad problem with these houses. That's the one issue regarding the value of the house, which never was brought up to any kind of hearing and any kind of information. And I don't even know how to solve this issue. The shaking is less during the winter time because probably the snow accumulates some shaking, but the summertime is very, very hard for the buildings. Another way, this is about the building, that's the one issue, but I also wanted to tell about my situation, because, this all a lot of issue is going about, it's done by the city controller. And the city controller this year, they froze, like I had, because my income is from the apartment building which I have. I bought a long time, I was laid off, I wanted to make a business, but I couldn't because I had such much problem with this building. And what happened, the tenancy branch, they froze the rent for 2 years. And now I am in such bad financial situation, and this is because of the city controller. And nobody is taking for consideration my needs. Everybody goes for the strike, but nobody is taking for consideration.
Sorry to interrupt you, but we can only pay attention to things that have a bearing on the value of your property that you have under appeal. We can't address anything about your economic circumstances or what a counselor has done and that sort of thing. Do you have any other information about your property itself that would have a bearing on how much you would get if you were to be selling it?
Because I have, like, I agree with you, but the entire was going in the cities, also the influence of the consular. That's I wanted to bring this point here. But because I had this hard time to find the value of this 446 Jefferson, and I know that it was last year for sale for 2,050, but I don't know exactly. And the house is very similar to me. It's a little bit too smaller, but the house also had a finished basement. Mine didn't have a finished basement. And they sold, and I don't know, and they sold less than $250. Therefore, I'm thinking it was about what I have heard, but I said I couldn't get this information because I was calling to a real estate agent and they didn't give me this information.
Okay, let me ask you a question here. When was the date of that sale? Do you know?
No, it was the fall last year.
Fall last year. Okay. You know what? We couldn't address anything about that sale anyway, because the assessments are all set as of what is called the reference date. And the reference date that we're dealing with is April 1st, 2021. So we have to look only at properties that sold on that date or earlier. We can't look at anything later than that. That's put into the legislation so that it is fair to everyone. We look at what is the value for every property at the same date. So the one that you were interested in, we wouldn't be able to look at anyway.
But if this house was sold for less than $250,000, if I would like to sell my house today, I also don't get 245. I will, because if this was sold like for 235, that's probably I would go also. This is my point which I wanted to make. And because I don't have any chance to to get any prices. That's what only the things which I was thinking.
Okay. Do you have other information for us?
No, thank you.
All right. Then, Ms. Sharp, do you have questions of the applicant about her information?
I have no questions of the applicant.
Then I'll turn to the panel. Mr. Coltrulio, do you have questions?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Feldman?
No, I do not, thank you.
Ms. Konevska, is there a particular value that you could identify that you think your property would be worth?
I will go back again this house for 467 Jefferson because it's pretty close and what I could get the information, it's about $235,000.
Did you say 255,000?
No, 235.
235. That's that. So is that the value that you think your house would have if it was to be sold?
Yeah, I think these are 230. Yeah, I think so because they are comparable to this house.
All right. Okay, well, that's all my questions. So we are finished then. Thank you very much for coming. We will be issuing an order later, and you will receive that in the mail as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
All right. So that was number 6. Do we have any other applicants present, either in person or via Zoom?
No, Mr. Chair, we do not.
All right. In that case, we would have numbers 2, 7, 9, and 11 to deal with potentially in the absence of the applicants. So, Ms. Sharp, what we need to do is we need to very briefly deliberate to determine, following the legislation, is it going to be our decision to hear these in the absence or not. So we will take a short recess to do that. Thank you. So Ms. Sharp, we have deliberated on whether to hear these in the absence of the applicants, and we have decided that we will hear them. All of the successive ones on this docket have nobody appearing. So we will, however, listen to your evidence in each case, beginning with number 2 on the docket, which is 420 College Avenue.
Okay. The property is roll number 14032949000, 420 College Avenue, located in neighborhood area 306 St. John's. It is a 1.5-story property, single family dwelling, built in 1924, 990 square feet, full basement with basement finish, 1.5 baths, and it has a detached garage. It is on a 3,008 square foot lot and has a hydro transformer box, which is actually an MTX box, not a hydro transformer box. The 2024 assessment roll has it at 152,000, which is 153.54 per square foot. The properties for comparables have all been taken from neighborhood area 306 St. John's. They are located all 1.5-story properties, single family dwellings. They range from 1909 to 1937 in age. They range from 958 to 1,066 square feet. All have full basement, except comparable 4, which is a full part area basement. There is no basement finish on any of these properties. They all have multiple or a single attached garage. All are similar assessed value for lot size. Comparable 3 is on a bus route with medium traffic, and comparable 4 is on a bus route with light traffic. They all range in time adjusted price from 144,900 to 175,900, and that is from $151.25 per square foot to $175.41 per square foot. We are recommending no change to the current 2024 assessed value of $152,000.
Thank you very much. Mr. Colatrulio, any questions?
No questions, please.
Ms. Feldman?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Just one question. I noticed that the subject property, the effective year is the same as the year built. 2 of the comps are different effective year. Do you know what the changes were, and does that nevertheless continue to make these good comparable properties?
I don't off the top of my head know what the changes were, other than they would have been changes that were significant enough to make changes to the effective year built. And in this particular case, there was no suggestion made to the effective year built of the property. I would say that those properties comparable 2 and 4 are probably superior to the subject property.
All right. It's my only question, so thank you very much. Our next one is then number 7, yes?
That's
Number
correct.
7.
Mr. Chair.
478 Penningham.
That's correct,
Ms.
yes.
Sharp, Ms. Sharp, when you are ready.
Okay. The property is roll number 1405-104-1000. Street address is 478 Penningham. Neighborhood area is 312 Robertson. The property is a 1-story single-family dwelling property, effective year built of 1950, living area of 735 square feet. It has a full basement and it has basement finish. There is no attached or detached garage for this property, and the lot size is 4,311 square feet on an external corner. The 2024 assessment roll value for this property is $218,000 or $296.60 per square foot. The comparable properties for this property were all taken from area 312 Robertson. They are all single-family dwelling properties. They all range from 1948 to 1951. They all range between 735 and 784 square feet. They all have full basement with basement finish, and they all have single-car garages of varying ages, which are listed on the page. They are all assessed lot of similar size. They range in age, or they range in sale price adjusted from $221,700 to $250,400, and range from $301.63 per square foot to $334.76 per square foot. We are asking that there's no change made to the current 2024 assessed value of $218,000.
Questions, Mr. Colatrulio?
I have no questions.
Ms. Feldman?
Not at this time, thank you.
And I have no questions. So we will move on to 40 Meadowcrest Bay. Ms. Sharp, when you're ready.
The subject property is roll number 0500931950. Street address is 40 Meadowcrest Bay in neighborhood area 322 River Grove. It is a two-story property, single-family dwelling. Year built is 1995. Area 1,760 square feet. Full basement with basement finish, but the basement finish is only 95 square feet. It has 2.5 bathrooms and it has an attached multiple car garage. The assessed lot size is 6,121 square feet. The current 2024 assessment roll value is $420,000 or $238.64 per square foot. The 4 comparable properties are taken from the River Grove and the River Bend areas. They are all two-story properties. They range in age from 1986 to 2004. They range in size from 1,644 square feet to 1,771 square feet. The first 3 properties have full basement with no basement finish. The 4th comparable has full basement finish. They all have attached garages of multiple, except comparable 4 is a built-in garage. There is a sunroom on comparable number 4. They are all similar lot size and they range in price from $420,000 to $433,000 or $237.96 per square foot to $256.69 per square foot for adjusted sale price. We are asking that there's no change to the current 2024 assessment value of $420,000.
Mr. Colatruglio, questions?
I have none at this point, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Ms. Feldman?
Not at this time, thank you.
And I have none. So we will move on to the last one on our docket, which is 46 Summer Scales Place. Ms. Sharp, when you're ready.
Thank you. The roll number is 050094333180 with a street address of 46 Summer Scales Place in the neighborhood area of 335, which is Rosser, Old Kildonan. The property is a two-story single-family dwelling built in 2022. It has 2,309 square feet with a full basement, no basement finish, and has an attached multiple car garage. Assessed lot size is 4,815 square feet. The current 2024 assessment roll value is $542,000 or $234.73 per square foot. The 4 comparable properties are taken from the area of 335 Rosser, Old Kildonan, all two-story single-family homes. They range in age from 2017 to 2018, and they range in size from 2125 square feet to 2311 square feet. They all have full basement. All are no basement finish, except comparable number 2 does have basement finish. They all have multiple attached garages, and the assessed value size ranges from 4,838 square feet to 7,686 square feet. The comparable number 1 has light traffic. Comparable 3 and 4 are located on a park. The time adjusted sale price value of the properties ranges from $521,600 to $575,500, which is from $242.89 per square foot to $250.65 per square foot We're asking that there is no change to the current 2024 assessed value of 542,000.
Mr. Colatuglio. Questions?
This time I have no questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Ms. Feldman?
I was just checking to see the year date and I see that this house is slightly newer than the comparables. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, I can explain that. It is a new subdivision. And so the closest comparables we could find was at a new subdivision, just a little ways off, as you can see on the map. It is a little bit further away, but in the same area. And so those comparable properties were 2017, 2018 when they were built. We weren't able to find anything between 2017 and 2022.
I understand. Thank you.
I'm also a little curious about the comps all being, obviously, I guess that was a new subdivision, but these were all resales. This was not obviously the empty lots that were selling. These were all houses that were sold, presumably to a second owner. Is that correct?
No, they were first time sales. As you'll notice at the bottom of the sales registration, the sales take place in 2018 for all of the comparables.
Okay.
So they were first sales.
Mm-hmm. And there was nothing closer to the subject. Is that correct? It seems like a very long distance.
Yeah, not in the neighborhood area.
Do you know what the boundaries of that neighborhood area are?
I don't off the top of my head.
All right. That's all my questions. That concludes all of the items on our docket today. So thank you very much, Ms. Sharp, for coming. We will be deliberating and issuing orders as quickly as we can.
Thank you very much.